Chapter 10, Documents and Forms. Documents. Certain documents are involved in the Kentucky legislative process and assist the General Assembly in its work. These provide a public record of legislative action at all stages. Bills and resolutions. Bills and resolutions are printed after introduction and are available on the legislative computer system. Those bills, resolutions, and amendments scheduled for consideration during the orders of the day are placed in binders in the chambers and are updated daily. Copies of bills may be obtained from the chamber bill rooms so long as the supply lasts. The Senate bill room is located within the chamber, to the left when facing the rostrum. The House bill room is located on the fourth floor of the Capitol. Bills that have been passed by the House of Origin are reprinted with amendments, if any, as General Assembly bills. This version of the printed bill is delivered to the receiving chamber. Therefore, General Assembly House bills are forwarded to the Senate, and General Assembly Senate bills are delivered to the House. For the convenience of the public, a public bill room is located in Room 85 in the Capitol basement. There is a minimal charge for copies of bills requested by the public. A final, enrolled copy of the bill is prepared for delivery to the Governor, as enacted.
Senate Journal and House Journal. Each senator and representative may request a set of the journals of the session either in bound volumes or on a USB flash drive. These are compiled by the Legislative Research Commission and are mailed to legislators as soon as they are available. They are the only official record of roll calls and action on motions. Senate Rules and House Rules. The rules of each House are printed and distributed to members early in the session, soon after their adoption. Kentucky Acts. The acts of each session are compiled by the Legislative Research Commission. They are mailed to legislators upon request a few months after adjournment and are available on a USB flash drive. General Assembly Action. Shortly after adjournment, the Commission publishes as an informational bulletin its General Assembly Action Summary document. This publication contains a summary of each measure sent to the Governor and the Secretary of State and an index. Bill Drafting Manual. The Legislative Research Commission publishes a manual of instructions on the form and style of bills and resolutions.
Kentucky Revised Statutes. This compilation contains all permanent Kentucky laws of a general nature that are currently in force. The Legislative Research Commission maintains the official version of this material in an electronic database that is used for bill drafting. Two commercial publishers, Lexis Law Publishing and the West Group, produce print and USB flash drive versions of the statutes, which they sell to the public. Both publishers' print editions are designated by the Commission as official editions of the KRS. The Commission loans sets of the print editions to members of the General Assembly not otherwise having access to them. The statutes are supplemented after each session to keep them up to date. Members with computers may access and search the Kentucky Revised Statutes on the Commission's local area network. The KRS has also been posted on the Internet at legislature.ky.gov with search capability. Legislative Record. This digest of bills and summary of legislative action is distributed to legislators before each day's session. It is prepared by the Legislative Research Commission and printed under its supervision. It provides an accurate and current record of the status of each bill and resolution. Additional copies are available on a subscription or individual basis from the public bill room. The legislative record is available online through the legislature's website at legislature.ky.gov.
Fiscal Statements. Pursuant to statutory requirements and House and Senate rules, fiscal statements are prepared that describe the financial implications of particular bills if such legislation were enacted. Fiscal statements consist of certain components that are prepared as necessary depending upon the subject matter and scope of the legislation. The components of fiscal statements follow. Fiscal notes describe how legislation affects the revenues or expenditures of state government generally. Fiscal notes are prepared by nonpartisan staff at the request of the sponsor of a bill, the request of the chair of the standing committee to which the bill is referred, or the request of that committee by vote. Local mandate statements describe how legislation fiscally affects local governments through imposition of a local mandate. LRC nonpartisan staff automatically identify the need for local mandate statements when drafting bills containing such mandates. Nonpartisan staff are then given the assignment to prepare the statements. Actuarial analysis statements describe how legislation changes the financial liability of any public retirement system administered by an agency of state government. LRC staff automatically cause actuarial analysis statements to be prepared by the public retirement systems when drafting bills pertaining to this subject matter. Corrections impact statements describe how legislation fiscally affects state or local corrections services in a significant manner. LRC staff automatically cause corrections impact statements to be prepared by the Justice Cabinet when drafting bills pertaining to this subject matter. Health benefit analyses describe whether legislation contains a mandated health benefit for purposes of health insurance coverage and the estimated financial effect of the addition of the benefit within health insurance coverage. LRC staff identify legislation for potential health benefit analysis by the Department of Insurance. Analysis is undertaken only with permission of the sponsor of the legislation.
Other documents. Prior to the session, a General Assembly directory containing biographical information on and a photograph of each member is published and distributed. The Legislative Research Commission also distributes charts indicating House and Senate seating arrangements. Forms. Working forms play a vital role in the orderly conduct of General Assembly business. Those forms of interest to legislators are described here. Amendment form. Amendments to bills are submitted on the appropriate House and Senate forms. Each amendment to a bill and each page of a multi-page amendment is placed on a separate form. All amendments must be signed by the sponsoring legislator, contain the name of the staff person preparing the amendment, and be initialed by the statute reviser who approved the amendment. These forms are computer-generated in the offices of the Legislative Research Commission. Gallery pass. Legislators desiring to admit family or friends to the appropriate gallery sections should obtain passes from the respective clerk's office. Honorary page certificate. Frequently, legislators make the gesture of designating children of friends or constituents as honorary pages of the General Assembly. These certificates are prepared by the clerk's office of each house, and requests should be presented there. Committee report. The committee report form is used by the standing committees of the General Assembly when reporting a bill to the full House with indication of opinion as to its acceptability for passage. Committee chairs are concerned with the use of this form and must sign the reports. Bill correction form. This form, known also as a pink slip, is used to correct technical or typographical errors in printed bills without the necessity of formal amendment. Signature by the appropriate sponsor permits the correction indicated on the form. These forms may be obtained from the Legislative Research Commission.
Legislative citation. For extending the commendations, congratulations, or condolences of the General Assembly to a particular person or group, or to recognize a significant event or occasion, members of the General Assembly may offer and present a legislative citation. These are prepared in single copies and are cited in the Journal of the House in which offered after formal adoption during floor proceedings. Citations may not be used for procedural matters or matters of a controversial or partisan political nature, and they may not be offered in place of resolutions petitioning the Congress. Vote change. A member who elects to modify a previous voting position should file with the clerk, when making a formal request from the floor, a vote change form indicating the number of the measure and the voting change. This form assures a written record of voting modification by members. Co-sponsor or withdraw as co-sponsor request. This form is filed by a member who has received agreement from the principal sponsor of a measure to have his or her name added or deleted as a co-sponsor. It is filed with the clerk when making a formal request for such action on the floor.